Hi, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight myself as usual. If I can figure out how to do it today. Let's see. Let's go here. Today I can pin myself. Let's see, maybe in, not sure why today the technology seems a little difficult for me. Well, you can always, I'm going to pin myself since I don't see Spotlight available today. And I'll figure out where I found it on the other days. And then you can go ahead and pin me to your screen so that I'll show up big on your screen also. But hello again, everyone. Good to see all of you. I know we have some people live on Instagram, and then we have some people here on Zoom, and then some people listening to the recording through YouTube as well. My name is Kelsey, and I'm a therapist in Washington State and also a yoga teacher. And so I've created this experience for all of you called Mental Health on the Mat, which is a yoga practice that brings in a bunch of mental health tools and psychoeducation around mental health topics. And so far this month, we've been working on neuroplasticity and helping our brain and our neurons grow as we're moving our bodies. And today's particular theme um, is about dual task or cognitive physical tasks. So it's going to be one of the more brainier lessons that we have today. So you might find by the end of it, your mind is like a little confused or a little focused. It might be more mental than you're used to in a yoga class. And that's okay. That's just kind of the intention of the flow today is to keep our brain active as we're moving our bodies so that we can have this whole brain integrated experience. And if you ever get lost throughout the session today, that's okay. To I'll cue, you can always go to child's pose. You can take a breath, take a break, and then catch back in on the flow. Today's practice is actually going to be a little bit more simple in part because I am a little bit sick today and I am in a location that has high altitude and my body is not used to the reduced oxygen. And so I notice I'm trying to catch my breath a little bit more. So today's flow is going to be a little bit more gentle, which is going to also help us bring in some more of that cognitive piece. So even though I'm a mental health provider, this isn't a therapy lesson, this isn't a therapy session. It's not advice, it's just kind of a fun exercise to learn how to integrate some of these tools. As always, you can take your shoes off and get comfortable. If you're at your desk for lunch, you can be sitting on a chair or on a floor. We're going to start with a meditation. We'll do a little bit of chair work, which you can do seated or on the chair. And then we'll do a stand-up flow as well today. Um, in this practice, you can come and go as you need. So if you have a half-hour lunch, that's okay. You can head out halfway through or join halfway through. Either way works. Um, because today's going to be a gentler flow, if you're a person who likes a bit more challenge, you can always add on extra challenges, hold the poses for longer, like sink deeper into the poses for extra strength building. Um, or you can always back off and do a little bit less as well. So accommodate as needed for your body because everybody's going to be different as we do this practice. So today we're going to start just by doing, since we're doing a gentle movement day today, our warm up is just going to be um, rolling all of our joints in our body. So we're going to begin by rolling first our neck as we always do. touching your right ear to your right shoulder, and just beginning the gentle, slow movement around, tucking your chin to your chest, left ear to left shoulder, and continuing around, letting yourself sink more into this moment, drop more into the presence of this moment. And rolling in the opposite direction. Go ahead and bring your head to stillness, your chin parallel to the ground in a neutral position. You can imagine a string pulling through the crown of your head, lengthening your seated position through the spine. Shrug your shoulders up to your ears and exhale. Let your shoulders drop. We'll do that 2 more times, shrugging your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, letting them drop. 1 more time, shrugging them up. And exhale, letting them drop. We're going to do a few simple shoulder rolls. Our hands can be rested on our knees or down at our sides. Seeing if you can open through your chest and through the back of your heart as you move through these shoulder rolls. And switching directions. And doing one last shoulder roll, going forward first, up and back, letting your shoulders sink back. Your shoulder blades are going to be a little bit tight to hold your shoulders open, and then slowly relax those muscles in between your shoulder blades to let them loosen so that you're not holding any tension, but that your chest is still open in the front for our meditation for today. Now, our meditation is a counting meditation, which is one of the first meditations I was ever taught. Go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable seated position. You can choose to close your eyes or keep them open. If they're open, you can go ahead and soften your gaze. And you're first just going to tune to your breath. And notice the natural way your body wants to breathe right now. With this counting meditation, there's no goal to get as high as you can count. There's no goal even to get past the number 1. The intention of this meditation is to stay focused on the numbers as you count, starting from 0 and counting up 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. But as you count, each time your mind starts to wander, each time you get a little bit distracted, or maybe you hear a sound around you and you want to identify it and notice what it is. Each time you're going to come back to 0 and start over. It's common that when you first start this meditation, you don't get past the number 2. And that's okay. It's our minds love to wander, love to think about things and identify things. So beginning at 0, I'll let you count on your own, counting from 0 as high as you can until your mind begins to think of something else. Maybe it's noticing the words I'm speaking. So I'm going to quiet my own voice so you can really sink into this practice. Counting up from 0 and coming back to 0 every time you notice your mind start wandering. Take a moment to pause and check in with yourself. Come back to your breath. Again, this practice isn't about how high you get. I've never made it past 10. Um, it's just about becoming aware of when your mind starts to wander and to build that tool and that practice of always coming back to zero and always coming back to yourself and that place of stillness and silence. Today, with dual task training, is what it's called. We're combining the cognitive and the physical. So we're combining mental tasks that we'll be doing. I hope that they're fun. And we're also going to combine them with some physical movements. And so, usually, when this is taught, the mental task is and the physical task are something sort of easy and repetitive. So we'll kind of play around with that. But the mental task might be simple addition or running through the alphabet, um, or reciting a story that you know by heart. And the physical task is usually like walking, um, balancing, or trying to like do squats or something like that. So we're going to do the yoga version of the combination of the two of those. But in general, dual task learning or training is taught. It's especially helpful for people with dementia because it is so effective at building those neurons and helping the connection between your mind and body grow. But if you don't have dementia, it's also really, really good for attention and executive functioning, for balance, functional mobility. Um, Basically anything that you need to do where you kind of sustain focus on something while there are distractions happening at the same time. Um, all right, let's return to our roles. I'm going to move to my seat so we can begin the seated part of our flow for today. And if you need to transition also, you can make sure you're scooted away from your desk at work so you have a little bit of space. One thing I noticed as I've been teaching in all these different places, there's usually always chairs places, and the chairs are always different. So some have arms, some don't. But whether you're seated on the floor or in a chair, any type of chair, you should be able to do today's simple exercises. So we're going to begin just by rolling our necks again, dropping your right ear to your right shoulder, chin to chest, and rolling all the way around. And rolling in the opposite direction. You can always stop in a spot that feels particularly tight and kind of rock back and forth in that spot. And when you feel complete, you can return chin parallel to the floor, lengthening through the crown of your head, beginning again with our shoulder rolls. And rolling in the opposite direction. And rolling now our wrists, first in the same direction. And rolling our wrists, then again in the same direction, but the opposite direction. And seeing if you can roll both of your wrists in opposite directions. Stretching our arms out wide. Hola. We're going to start by making big arm circles with both arms first. And going in the opposite direction, going backwards. And slowly making these circles smaller until we're doing small little arm circles, remembering to switch directions. And this time you're going to keep your arms out and you're just going to rotate your forearms and hands so that you get some nice circles in your elbows. And as we're doing this, I'm going to share 7 different words. So Miller's Law is this idea that we can hold, remember to switch directions, about 7 different ideas or items in our working memory. So throughout this practice, I'm going to share 7 different words, and you can try to remember them. You can let them go, whichever works for you. But we'll check back in and see how much of those words we remember by the end of the practice. Go ahead and lift up one of your legs and start by rolling your ankles. Our first word to remember is red. Take your left ankle or whatever foot is up and cross it over the knee of your foot on the ground and continue to roll your ankle in this position. The second word to remember is snail, like the little creature. Go ahead and plant this foot down on the ground. Bring up your opposite foot and begin those rolls. Remembering to switch directions. The next word is 37. Bend your knee to cross your ankle over your knee, continuing those ankle rolls. The next word is tomorrow. Go ahead and plant both of your feet down on the ground. Come to the edge of your seat, or if you are seated on the ground, you can just create a bend in your knees with your hips and your feet on the ground. And begin to windshield wiper your knees side to side, creating a little bit of stretch in your hips. The next word to remember is telephone. Go ahead and scoop back in your chair if you need to get a more stable position. Place your right hand on your left knee so that you can begin a gentle twist. As you look over your left shoulder, the next word to remember is yes. Untwisting back through neutral, planting your left hand on your right knee, twisting around again. And the last word to remember today is square. So all together, our 7 words, I have to read them out because I don't have them memorized, are red, snail, 37, tomorrow, telephone, yes, square. Still in your seated position, go ahead and inhale your arms up to the sky. Exhale, drop your left arm. Right arm reaches over and around as you gaze up towards your right hand. Breathe deeply to open through the right side of your body. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, drop your right arm down to the right side. Gaze up at your left hand. Inhale, both arms up. This time your right hand is going to drop down to your left foot. Left hand is going to open up to the sky. Even when we're in a twisted position, we want to see how much we can breathe into our body. Pushing back up through neutral. Letting your left hand drop down, your right hand comes up to the sky, gaze follows. Exhaling back to center. We're going to bring our arms behind us. You can interlace your fingers if they touch. If not, that's okay. You can also grab onto the sides of your chair. We're just going to open through our chest, gaze up towards the sky, creating a little back bend. And then forward fold. Lean over your legs as much as you can. You can use your knees for stability or reach down towards your feet. Just letting your head hang. You can look left to right, nodding yes. Letting your neck stretch out a little bit more in this position. And walking your way back up to neutral. I'll guide you through this one more time, a little bit faster. And then we're going to add in our next mental activity. So first, just inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, dropping down to the left side, gaze is up. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, dropping arms down to the right side, gaze is up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, reach down towards your left foot with your right hand, left hand to the sky. Take a breath here. On your exhale, return to neutral and twist to the other side. Returning to neutral. Arms can grab the back of your chair, the sides of your chair, or interlace behind you to open your chest. Gaze is up. And exhale, forward fold. We're going to go through this again, maybe about 2 or 3 more times. And this time, our mental activity, I'd like you to recite. You can choose. You can either in your mind run through the storyline of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, or you can pick a favorite childhood story that you know really, really well. And just in your mind, think about what happened first in the story, second, third, the climax of the story, and then how the resolution happened. So I'll cue the movement, but you in your mind will be thinking about this story and running through the arc of the story. First, inhaling, arms up. Exhale to the left. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. Inhale up. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, you can bring your arms behind you, look up. And exhale, forward fold. One more time on your own. Inhale, arms up. And just in case you got lost, I'll cue it one more time with the words so you can finish up your story. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms to the side on the left. Gaze is up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to the right. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twisting to the left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale, arms up and back. And exhale, forward fold. And coming back to a neutral seated position, just check in with yourself on how that was for you, how easy it was to move your body, to follow along with the movements, to bring in the story. No judgment, just allowing it to be what it is. I'm going to remind you of those 7 words just in case you forgot them already. Well, maybe first just check in and see how many of them you remember. It's okay if you don't remember any. It's okay if you remember all. It's okay if you remember 2. The words were red, snail, 37, tomorrow, telephone, yes, and square. All right, we're going to transition to our standing flow for today. So if you need to, you can get out your mat. I don't often cue for a lot of props in my yoga, in part because I think that most people are at work. And I imagine most people don't have yoga props at work. But today it was so pretty outside, I wanted to do it out here, but then I need a pillow for my knees since I'll be on the cobblestone. So you're always welcome to add in any props that you want to do in your yoga practice. We're going to start at, I think I'll move it to the side for now so it's close by but not in the way. We're going to start at mountain pose. And we're going to start at the top of our mat, whatever that is for you. Mountain pose, you're stacking your knees above your ankles, hips above your knees, shoulders above your hips. Palms are open forward. And we can just rock around a little bit until we find our alignment with gravity. So the place where our body is using the least amount of muscle tension to hold ourselves up. Go ahead and inhale your arms up. Exhale, cactus your arms out to the side at a 90-degree angle. Chin towards the sky, creating a small bend in your upper back. Take a few breaths here. On your next exhale, reach up and over through to a forward fold. You can let your hands drop down. You can grab either side of your elbows and slowly rock them side to side and see what stretch is available there. Inhale, plant your hands on your shins or knees, lengthen through the crown of your head, coming into a halfway lift. And as you exhale, bend your knees so that your hands reach the mat. Send your left leg back, right leg stays in the front, creating a little lunge. Lengthen from your back left foot through the crown of your head. And on your next exhale, bring your right foot to meet your left in a plank pose. Slowly lower down to the mat. Inhale your upper chest, chin to the sky, squeezing your back and glutes to support your lower back. Hands can stay on the ground, but you're not using any pressure from your hands to lift your upper body. Exhale, tuck your toes, pressing through tabletop position, lifting your knees to come into downward dog. Taking a few breaths here, feeling your shoulders pull down towards the mat, hips towards the sky, lengthening from your hips through the crown of your head. Look up through the space in between your hands. Bring your left leg as far forward as you can to return to our little lunge. Taking a few breaths here before bringing your right leg to meet your left, back in our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And slowly make your way to mountain by rolling your spine up, letting your head be the last thing that comes up. We're going to go through this one more time, a little bit faster. And on the third time, I'll add a cognitive task and have you go through the flow kind of on your own. So again, we're going to inhale our arms up, exhale, bending at the elbows, cactusing our arms, creating a small back bend as we gaze up towards the sky. Exhaling to forward fold. Inhaling, planting your hands on your shins or knees, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands on the mat, bring your left foot back for a low lunge. Take a breath, and then on your next exhale, bring your right foot to meet your left and slowly lower down to the mat. Inhale, raising your chest and chin to the sky. Exhale, tucking your toes, pressing through tabletop, lifting those hips and knees for downward dog. Taking a breath, exhaling, inhaling, looking through your hands, bringing your left foot this time up to our low lunge on the left side. And bringing our right foot to meet our left, coming back into our forward fold. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhaling all the way down and slowly rolling your spine up, back to mountain. All right, for those of you who like numbers, our cognitive task is a math-associated one. We're going to start at 100. And if you want the easier version, you can count down by ones. If you like a little bit more complex, you can count down by fives. And if you are a math whiz and want something really complex, you can count down from 100 by sevens. So I'll cue you with fives to show you what that might look like. And then you can choose if you want to do by fives or ones or sevens on your own. So inhaling 100, exhaling 95. Inhaling forward fold 90. Inhaling halfway lift 85. Wow, this is complex for me. Bringing your left foot back into our lunge 85. Maybe I already said 85. Maybe I'm on 80. 75. 70. 65. 60. 55. 50. And on. So that's one flow. We're going to do one more time. You can choose this time if you're going to count down from 100 by ones, fives, or sevens. If you get lost, you can always look at the screen and follow along. I'm not going to talk through it just so that I don't mess up your counting and you can stay focused on your own cognitive task. But we will start all together, inhaling our arms up, exhaling into cactus. Taking your time to finish your flow, coming back to mountain. We're all going to meet in the center of our mat. Wherever you're at, finish your flow. Doesn't matter what number you got to, or if you got lost, or if that was difficult or easy, but take a moment just to check in how it was for you and begin to notice if the story was easier, the words were easier, the numbers were easier, which one you tend to have a preference for. We're going to stand in mountain pose. Inhale our arms up. Exhale, arms over to the left side. Gaze is up. Inhale, arms up. Drop your right arm down. Left arm up and over. Gaze is up. Inhale, both arms up, and exhale, arms down to your side. Put all of your weight into your left foot. Ground through the four corners of your left foot and begin to just slowly tap and lift your right foot so that you know you can move your right foot around and you've got your balance point. You can do this practice by putting your right foot on your left ankle. You don't want to put your right foot on your left knee, but you can go below your knee or just above your knee. But either way, make your way to a small balanced tree position. If your chair is still nearby and you want to use that to balance, go ahead and grab your chair. While you're balancing, bring to mind the shape of a triangle. It can be any kind of triangle. And imagine in your mind's eye rotating this triangle by 90 degrees. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, spread your arms wide like the branches of a tree. Keep that triangle in your mind's eye and rotate it another 90 degrees. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, release your leg, release your arms, release the triangle shape. Go ahead and come back into mountain pose, grounding through all four corners of your feet. Roll your shoulders up and back. Release any tension in your back, but keep the openness in the front of your chest. Inhale your arms up. This time, grab your right wrist with your left hand and pull your right hand to the side. Gaze is still going to go up, but our arms are staying connected. Inhaling both arms up, switching your grip, grab your left wrist with your right hand and pull to the right side. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, you can shake your arms out. Put all of your weight in your right foot. It's a little tricky for me since I'm on the cobblestones today. And begin to just tap your left foot around, finding that balance point and trusting that your balance is here. Again, you can do tree pose with your left foot above your knee, below your knee, or down at your ankle. And this time you're going to bring to your mind's eye the shape of a heart. And when you can clearly visualize this heart, see if you can rotate it in your mind's eye while you're balancing 90 degrees. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale your arms wide like a tree. See if you can rotate that heart another 90 degrees. Inhale your arms up high and exhale. Release your leg, release your arms, release the shape of the heart. You can shake everything out. We're going to come down to a tabletop position. If you are on a hard surface at work, you can grab a pillow too if you have one, though not many people have pillows at their work. Tabletop, wrists are below, elbows below shoulders, knees below your hips. Inhale, lift your chin, drop that belly down to the mat. Coming into cow pose. Exhale, tuck your chin, suck your belly up towards your spine, rounding your spine to the sky. For cat pose. At your own pace, breathe and move through cat and cow. And come again to a neutral spine. So lengthening through your crown and your tailbone. Put all of your weight into your right hand and your right knee. And slowly begin to lengthen your left leg as you rotate your foot 90 degrees to the side so that you can open through the front of your body as you raise your left hand to the sky. Gaze follows your left hand up, supported side plank. Inhale here, and if available to you, you can reach that left hand up over your head, creating a long line between your left hand and left foot. Exhaling, returning that left hand high, and then dropping it down onto the mat. Back into our tabletop position. Keeping most of our weight in our right hand, you can bring your right hand center below your chest, so we can do some thread the needle. We're going to be adding in another cognitive task here. So I'll ask you a question, and then you will answer in your mind's eye each time we do a twist. So we're going to lift our left hand to the sky. This time both knees stay on the mat. The question is, what is the opposite of hot? Answer it in your mind's eye as you exhale. Thread the needle with your left hand. Bring your left shoulder down to the mat. Inhale, bring that left hand back up to the sky. What is the opposite of tall? Exhale. Thread the needle. Bring your left shoulder down to the mat. Inhale, reaching up on the left side. What is the opposite of down? Exhale, thread the needle, left shoulder to the mat. And inhaling, planting both hands back on the mat, coming to tabletop position. We're going to add in a little bit of math. This time you're going to put your weight in your left hand and left knee. Lengthen your right leg long as you rotate your left foot 90 degrees to support you from behind, opening up to the right side. Gaze is going to follow your right hand up to the sky. And if available to you on an inhale, you can reach up and over, creating that long line between your right leg and your right hand. Exhaling, right hand comes back to the sky before planting it down on the mat and returning to tabletop position. Go ahead and bring your left hand directly below your chest. Raise your right arm up to the sky and answer as we thread the needle, what is 2 plus 3. Raise that right hand up to the sky. What is 4 minus 2? Exhaling, bringing that right shoulder down to the mat. Inhaling up again. What is 17 plus 23? Exhaling. That last one was a bit trickier. But go ahead and exhale, both hands down to the mat, coming back to our tabletop position. Moving through cat and cow once more. Inhaling, belly to the mat, chin to the sky. Exhaling, round your spine, tuck your chin. And then coming back to a neutral spine. Find your way to a seated position on your mat. Just checking the time there. We're going to come back to our roles and see how many of those 7 things from the beginning of class we remember. So start again just by tucking your right ear to your right shoulder and gently rolling your head around. Switching directions. Just a slow and gentle stretch. Shrugging your shoulders up to your chin. Exhaling, releasing them down 2 more times. And one more, shrugging your shoulders up. Exhaling, releasing them down. Beginning first with our wrists. Checking in with yourself. How many of those 7 things do I remember? Remembering to switch directions with your wrists. Seeing the difference between going in the same direction versus opposite directions. Bringing our arms out to the side. Starting with large arm circles. Switching directions. Coming to our little small arm circles. And then finally just our elbow circles. Remembering always to switch directions. It's amazing how different it feels, even though we're doing pretty much the same movement. Go ahead and release your arms down to the side. Bring both of your legs long on your mat. Bring your left ankle over your right knee. And continue with ankle rolls with your left foot. Releasing your left leg long. Bringing your right ankle over your left knee. And doing some ankle rolls on the right side. Bringing both of your legs long in front of you, inhaling up, exhaling into a forward fold. You can slowly walk your hands down your legs as far as they want to reach today. And walk your hands back up your legs to come to a comfortable seated position. I'm going to remind you of the 7 words, and you can just check how many of them you remembered, how many of them you got that were the same. So the words were red, snail, 37, tomorrow, telephone, yes, and square. Take a breath and exhale, let it out. We're going to enter into Shavasana, but before we do that today, I just want to name that a lot of these exercises were probably pretty difficult. It's really difficult to be doing something with our mind and our body at the same time with a lot of distractions and a lot of moving pieces and a lot of moving parts. And that is a part of why this activity helps us grow our neurons, because it is, even as like simple as the tasks may seem, it's still a really difficult thing to do. So we're still experiencing the act of learning and the act of growing and the act of our mind being like, oh, there's something here for me to do better. But it can be common that we can get stuck in that kind of growth oriented mindset, which can feed some feelings of not being good enough. Um, and for now, we just want to kind of unlink that. It can be okay to learn and grow and also still be good enough as we are, and that both of those stories can be true at the same time. So, as we go into Shavasana today, you can go ahead and lie down on your mat in a comfortable position, reminding yourself that it is okay to be exactly how you are, no matter how easy or difficult these were, no matter how many of those words you remembered. And it's also okay to want to learn more and to grow. If you wish to, you can choose to return to the counting meditation from earlier today, where all you're doing is tracking your thoughts, tracking when new thoughts are coming in, and starting over with your counting from 0 to as high as you can get before a thought interrupts you. Or you can let the practice go. Your minds have worked a lot today, and you can just let yourself be in the stillness and the silence of Shavasana. My voice will guide you out when it is time to come out of Shavasana, and so you can return to your workday. And as you're ready, you can begin to notice your breath again. Release the counting if you were doing that practice. You can rock side to side, bring some movement into your fingers and toes, roll to one side, and let yourself rest in a fetal position for a moment before using your top hand to press you up into a seated position. I want to thank you all again for coming today. Thank you for being in this practice. Give yourself a moment of gratitude also for showing up for yourself today. Next week we are doing integration, which is I'm a very yin person, very kind of like slow and intentional person. So integration is one of my favorite practices, but it fits into the neuroplasticity category because integration and sleep and rest are super, super, super important for learning. And that's how we like store things from short-term and working memory into long-term memory. So it's going to be a nice, gentle, easy class next time. And I hope that you come and you enjoy it. And I will see you all then. Thank you again so much for today, and I'll see you next week.